Okay, good morning everyone. Let's get started with crude oil. So crude oil, we are still in a good range. If you look at the support ledge we have seen already a couple of days ago, and it's still in place at $60. I see that we're forming a ledge at around $61 at the top. So playing in the range between these two, I see some buy activity from 60.11 to 60.17 with a consolidated POC as a support, and also some sell activity at the top ledge from 60.83 to 61.03 with a consolidated POC around the sessions POC at 60.89. So these are my two zones I'm going to watch. We have still these zones underneath the supporting ledge at $60 in place from the previous days, so no changes here, just updating on what was going on in the overnight or yesterday's session. That's it for crude oil. Let's get over to gold. Gold, we see a clear support at around 39.40, holding for a couple of days already. Above the low volume node that we have already in place from 39.22 to 39.30.8. So as long as we stay above these levels, I see a good chance for gold to retrace back and take out some of the highs of the previous days at around 40.44 and 40.59. So looking at today's session, I see some buying coming in at 39.44 to 39.51 with a consolidated pocket around 39.47. Right above, I have some imbalances. So a good scenario would be if they run the stops at around 39.65, then just to bounce off the imbalances right underneath. But for this to be confirmed, I want the market to see being traded again above 39.65 to go for a long, to take out the current Globex high and then trade to the previous day's POC at 40.004, which is also marking a sell zone from 40.0.8 to 40.06.3. So this is a sell zone for me. I will be watching when gold approaches basically the $4,000 mark. Well, that's it for gold. Let's look at ES. So ES had some weakness overnight, similar to the NASDAQ. While looking at the volume by price profile, we see some differences. And when I show the NASDAQ volume by price, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. So S&P basically got some acceptance overnight below the ledge that I had marked already for yesterday at around 6,800. And we traded down, tested the open pocket 67.74, and traded down to the low volume node that I had mentioned yesterday between 67.42 to 67.47. And basically now we are still within this area and bouncing off of yesterday's RTH low, which is also yesterday's low. The bounce of the bottoms created some buy zones I will be looking at. It's at 67.54 to 67.61 with a consolidated pocket 67.58. Also, the most recent one from 67.75 to 67.79 with a consolidated pocket around 67.77. So when we trade above yesterday's low, then I want them to trade above the Globex high, which will be the next target, and then test the recent sell area from yesterday's session at around 68.10 to 68.16 with a consolidated POC at around 68.11. So we have some swing highs in there. And I expect some reaction at this area. If this area gets broken, then obviously we have the value area high to be tested. and then the upper sell zone at yesterday's session, where we also bounced off of the low volume node at around 68.40 to 68.48, and I'll be watching this sell zone because this is basically the area that needs to be broken so we get further up in the market. And a supporting point will be 68.24.75. So aligns a little bit with the previous day's value area high. So this is an area, if we get above this point, I will aim to get a test at the upper sell zone of yesterday's session. So let's take a look at Nasdaq. So you can see, so Nasdaq, similar structure to the S&P, but did not get the acceptance underneath the ledge at 25,347. And what I could see overnight is we get a rejection there, and then we had the low volume node from 25,394 to 25,430 that I had in place for yesterday's session and today's Globex session. And basically they traded underneath, did not get acceptance in the lower distribution, impulsed up, rejected at the previous day's low, sold off again just to get a bounce off the low volume node that I just mentioned. So we have two buy zones that I'll be watching for today. It's 25,297 to 25,333 with a consolidated pocket 25,320. So this is basically the Globex low. It's right underneath the ledge, so I'll be careful. I want to see a good reaction here to take a long here, so be cautious here. But the upper one aligns a little bit with the low volume node. It's from 25,417 to 25,439 with a C pocket around 25,426. So this is the supporting zones for my long. I want to see acceptance above the previous day low, same as for the S&P, with a little difference because Nasdaq did not take out previous RTH POC. Just take a look again at the S&P. S&P traded the POC during the opening range of the Globex session, while Nasdaq is way below. So if we get acceptance above the previous day low on the Nasdaq, I want them to impulse through the Globex high, which aligns with the previous day value area low, and then trade through the value area of yesterday to yesterday's POC as the target, which is marking also a sell zone from 25,646 to 25,685. Hold on. With a consolidated POC right underneath the previous session's POC at 25,665. So this will be a sell area I will be watching. If we break this zone, then the target will be previous day's value area high. I have the low volume node marking basically the price that needs to be broken, in my opinion. So we trade to yesterday's high, and then target would be the ledge at 25,960. So still some way to go, but looking at the most recent ranges we were trading during the days, doable in my opinion. Okay, we will have news in about 5 minutes, and then also half an hour after the open, so watch those if you're in a trade. And Trump is also speaking at, what is that, 1 p.m. Eastern, so watch out. Good luck for today, and see you tomorrow.